Amen.
And I must say, coming into ministry for me was quite a very challenging thing. Why? Because I thought as we are married, there is a way marriage is supposed to be. It's still the same comparing my parents or my family where I came from. But he was transferred almost immediately after I gave birth to my first child, which was Joshua. He was taken to Lagos. And we kept believing God that he would be sent back because that was not what I saw in the plan. I felt the marriage, you are with your husband, this is how it's supposed to be. And so when he was taken away to Lagos, we thought in 1 year, in 2 years. So I kept hoping against hope, 1 year, 2 years, 3 years. Somewhere in the 4th year, I think it became too much for me and I couldn't handle it. So one day, in fact, how we meet is, okay, he's going for a meeting somewhere. He has to leave Lagos because they're always inspecting them, always checking up on them. They don't leave their job. The job is very tedious. And anytime, sometimes he wants to come home, that is when a ship will come in from another country.
I never allowed her to visit my office once because if she had come, she would have asked me to resign that day. The risk we take, in the downstream subsector of the oil industry, there are standards. It's only Mobil and Total were the only people that kept the standards, only companies that kept the standards. We worked under strange conditions. Those days, people lobbied to be posted to Mobil because all the safety standards are respected. In fact, they are excellent. The work environment is wonderful. But if you are not in Mobil, you're not in Total. In fact, there's nothing I can compare with. This ceiling is not tall. This ceiling. This is the height of a small vessel. This ceiling. This is the question. And they will let a rope down. It's a rope you will use to go up there. Think about it. How many of you can? You mean the strength of your hand. Your hand can carry your weight. How many of you can do that and move from here and climb? And beneath you is water. And the thing will be moving like this. Sometimes you need to calculate the movement before you dive. And so I never allowed her to come to my office. She would have asked me to resign. And I love the job. But you see, the whole idea is this. The reason for which God allowed me to stay away from home was because ultimately I had an apostolic ministry. And those of you on ground here are witnesses of my travelings. My job and the separation that he brought to me and her was preparation for the calling and the destiny that I'm now facing. But you see, a woman doesn't marry a man in order for the man to be always absent. One day I came home and my son called me uncle. I'm not joking. Where's Joshua? Okay, he has gone to... Yeah. Yes. You are supposed to be in the teenage class. What are you doing up there? That boy called me uncle. And I knew it was a challenge, but there was nothing I could do about it. But now we have understanding that God set all of that up in order to equip us for travel ministry. I think it makes sense now.
So we kept believing God and it wasn't coming. At that time, I didn't understand anything. After 4 years, I think I visited, there was a woman of God I visited around here. So she was like, your husband where's your husband? I said, he's in Lagos. How long has he been in Lagos? I said, around 4 years. She said, what are you doing here? You're supposed to pack your load and meet him in Lagos. And so I just listened. We left there. Then suddenly the whole thing just dawned on me. What am I even doing here? So we were supposed to meet in Kaduna. He came for a crusade. So we met there. I said, I have something serious to discuss. I said, honestly, I'm tired of living this kind of life. I want to pack my load and follow you to Lagos. And then he said, well, it's actually your right to be with me anywhere I am. It's just that Lagos is not so conducive. The work environment and my job is very tedious and very risky too, and I don't want to put my family into that. So I said, anyhow we can. No problem. We'll always find a way. So I still wanted to go. But as we had that discussion and I came back to Makurdi, one day I was taking my bath and God began to speak to me. And then he said, Dina, I said, yes. I was like, yes, Lord. He said, concerning what you have been contemplating in your mind. He said, yes, some people there's a reason why they get married, some for companionship, some for, all the things that are named during marriage joining and all that. He said, but I told you before that your marriage was meant for the church. I said, church? That was the first time I was ever hearing anything like that. I said, how can somebody's marriage be meant for the church? He said, yes, you won't understand it now, but by and by, you get to understand it. And I remember when he was saying, I was crying seriously. And after that, I just cleaned my eyes and It stuck in my heart. Your marriage is meant for the church. Your marriage is meant for the church. We kept going like that. And I made up my mind that I was going to stay back because he said, stay back. You need to stay back in Makurdi. But I didn't understand why I should stay back in Makurdi until several years later, I began to understand. If I had gone, even this ministry will not be here by now.
People will never have believed that I still believed in the calling to this part of the world if I had gone to Lagos and carried my wife. What is the evidence? So her staying back was a sign that I was willing to sacrifice to still keep a part of me in this land as a sign that I'm willing to suffer for the calling. Part of the reason why this fellowship survived is that sacrifice. Because people were aware that no matter where I go, I will come back to my wife. And for that singular reason, we eventually were apart for 11 years. Out of the 14 years we are celebrating today, 11 of it we were apart.